Good morning, everyone. It's pre-dawn. I'm going to make from Marina Del Rey to Santa Cruz Island in the Channel Islands today. It's 60 miles. There aren't any good places to stop. That's going to take me all day at least. And so I want to get to the anchorage while there's still sun, hopefully. So I'm leaving as early as I can. There just aren't going to be any better winds for it than there are today for the next week or so. So now's the time. First step, of course, is to secure the cabin for sea. I got to put the dishes away, put a couple of little items away, and then I'm gonna let slip the ropes and head out. So when I'm solo, obviously I dock and undock the boat myself, which with a boat this large is not at all trivial. The first thing I'm doing, first of all, the harbor is absolutely still, which is of course the perfect time to maneuver like this, because you have the fewest strange forces acting on the boat. But what I'm really doing here is looking at the lines and seeing which ones are tense and which ones are slack, and that gives me what the current is doing right now. They're all a little bit slack, but the most tense one seems to be this bow line right here. It's actually not under much tension, but it does tell me that there's just a very slight current pushing the boat that way towards that dock, because this one is very slack and the rear one there is very slack. So what I'm going to do is set the dock lines so that I can release the final dock line that really lets me go from within the cockpit after I'm on board. So I'm going to drop the very slack ones. I'm going to keep the boat towards this side that it's being pulled to, or that, I'm sorry, that it's being pushed away from. I'm going to hop on this side. And that dock line right there in the corner is going to be the last one holding the boat onto the slip. Boat might rotate a little bit towards the dock, might even touch the dock. That's all fine. And then I will motor out. I had to work quickly and couldn't film it, but that was just easy because the water was still. So now we head out. Pre-dawn in any ocean situation is just the most beautiful time. You have all the lights, you've got a couple fishermen, we had some UCSD rowers go by. So calm and serene. It's a little darker than it looks on camera. The camera is picking up light really well, but everything is just a painting. The sun about to come up over LA. And Marina Del Rey. LAPD, maybe it's sheriff's. These are those rowers in their support boat. They're actually rowing faster than I'm steaming. All right, we are motoring out. That's Malibu right there. It's Los Angeles back there. Sun's about to rise. Got my coffee, got my cup of noodles. I got my cup of water. I got my course set on the navigator. And we're heading into some, 2-3 foot rollers, no big deal. I'm motoring for a little bit because I need to charge my batteries anyway. I want to make some hot water. The hot water heater exchanges water with the engine. That's what heats it up. It also has an electric maintainer, which I keep turned off because it takes too much power. But yeah, that way I can take a quick shower. I have a hot shower here on the back, so it'd get a little awkward if anybody was within 5 nautical miles of me, but that's how I shower on board when I'm underway. It's So I want to make hot water for that. That and the power means that I'm going to just motor through breakfast probably for about an hour. And then I'll get the sails out. We don't have any wind anyway, so this is helping me make a little bit better time. I don't like to motor when I'm on a long trip like this because you only have so much fuel, so you got to use it wisely. But this is making power, making hot water, and making headway when there's no wind are the three reasons why you do it. All right, we got the sails out. We kind of, the other day we had the perfect sails for our upwind trip. These are kind of exactly the wrong sails for a downwind trip. We have a very small head sail on. What you want in downwinds is a big head sail. If I was doing a longer trip, we would have the Code 0 up at least, which is a much bigger head sail and could make more headway with these winds. I probably should have put it on before I left. I'm not going to put it on underway because it's on the bowsprit and I'd have to climb out there, and maybe I'll do it at anchor, maybe not. It's a little bit dangerous for one person to put it on themselves. Anyway, we're making about 3.5 knots, which is not fantastic, but it's all right for now, and the wind should pick up. You can see here that the wind is coming from behind us, and we're trying to catch it like a parachute, which is very different than the aerodynamic sailing you do when you're going upwind. Now a giant whale just breached next to me and took a breath. And that's when there he is. I wonder if I can see him. I think it's a California gray whale. There he is. Scared the shit out of me because he was like 10 feet away when he first breached and blew. So I'm on my passage here to Santa Cruz Island from Marina Del Rey, which is in the haze now, but this is the coastline of kind of Malibu, and I don't know what you call the northern areas of Los Angeles, but the wind has shifted to dead downwind, which means that I've got my mainsail flat out against it. You can see up there that the arrow is pointing right behind us. And that means that my self-tacking jib is just going back and forth on its track, flopping around. What I really want to have happen is for it to catch a little more wind off the side of the mainsail and to stay on the opposite side of it. That's called wing on wing. Because it's self-tacking, I don't control where that clue goes on the car unless I take a dock line and tie it off, which is what I'm going to do. Alright, so what I've done is rig this dock line to the car, which is now preventing it from traveling back and forth on the track. I'm kind of keeping this sail opposite the wind. The sail is still flopping around. I'm going to let it out a little bit more, but it's keeping the car here. That way it fills up here and I get a little more boost out of it than if it's just sitting there flopping around doing nothing for me. This is called a preventer when you rig like this. Excuse me. And it's necessary with a self-tacking jib if you want to actually control where the car is. I'm just rigging it with a dock line to this cleat to make it easy to get back off. When I go back to typical sailing, I can actually just leave the dock line connected and the tail of this loose enough to go all the way across, and it will continue to work for me. And then I can prevent it whenever I want to.